the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
One of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Stoned Appetit with your host, as always, it's me, Kip, and across on our new futon in the home studio, we got CB. How you feeling, CB?
I'm feeling great, and this does not feel like a futon. This feels like a sophisticated couch.
Thank you. We wanted to go a little Sigmund Freud vibe so that when we have guests here in the smoke dungeon of the house studio, that they also feel like they can open up, unwind to us. But yeah, for those that are listening, this week's episode is brought to you or presented by Seed Smith Cannabis. You know, we have a fantastic guest that we did on location this week, and it's going to be a killer episode. But Chris and I had to check out the new digs, try it out a little bit, as well as we had to give a little precursor to this episode. Obviously, we set the city ablaze last week, pun intended, as we launched the Stoned Appetit Dinner Series, which is a pop-up dinner series that showcases chefs and how they can creatively explore the magical plant of the cannabis for our patrons that come to our dinner series. And so what we wanted to do before we dive into our guest episode with the wonderful couple from DenverFoodScene, that's Yesenia Chinchilla and Daniel Perez. But before we do that, we wanted to talk a little bit about just life. Go for it, Chris. Yeah, we can say their names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We just didn't take pictures. Yeah, the wonderful couple behind DenverFoodScene will be joining us here shortly. It's a great episode. But before we get into our guests, we wanted to kind of just debrief the community as well as give a shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, everybody knows we love the Dart Pen. We love Seed Smith. The flower that they've got is piping as well. Check them out, www.seedandsmith.com. I think we did a full ad read form at the beginning of the interview, so we'll kind of skip
I think you killed it.
And then shout out to, I guess, our dinner partners as well, the Callie's Cannabis brand. Fantastic flower, fantastic people, you know, family-run operation here in Colorado, so we love working with the local entities, and we love smoking fire bud, which I guess should lead us to our first point on the rundown today, Chris. Let's talk a little bit rooster cannabis competition.
Ooh, man. I don't know. I'm trying to gear up for this. This is a lot of reefer.
Yeah, so, you know, we've talked about the Rooster magazine in brief in the past, but we have been selected to be judge, and I don't think jury, but just judge, of the THC Classic. So we've been given 3 different segments that we are going to break down, and they gave us so much frickin' dope. Like, so much gosh damn weed. It's unfrickin' believable. It's wild. Like, we're going to be mashed potato brained by the end of this.
But we're using it for scientific purposes for judging.
In the name of research. It's science.
R&D.
I feel like one of those little rats, but instead of like being put in a cage, they put us in this little podcast studio with a flat screen television and YouTube and nudie magazines. You know, like they just want to see the study on the brain. But
we definitely need lab coats for this.
We need to reach out to our friends over at MedFarm. Go see if we can cop those things. That's a good point. But yeah, so for those that are curious, we are smoking hybrid flower. I have distillate vape cartridges, which I've already completed the vape cartridges to the surprise of nobody.
Well done.
And then, there was only like 15 of those, but this is where we had to bring in your expertise, Chris. The edibles. There's like 40 fucking edibles to go through. And obviously you can tell some of who the brands are just by being regular participants, but it's going to be an enlightening next 18 days or whatever we have left. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm a big edible guy. Love to judge these.
Hell yeah. So, you know, we love judging folks, so why not judge product as well? You know, it's, what is it? Ron White said it best. It's profiling's not illegal. It's just wrong. I guess we probably shouldn't quote some of those rednecks in 2022,
Very
but
true.
Such is life. All right. So let's dive into the nitty gritty. So we teased it earlier. We launched our first dinner series last week. Everyone's been clamoring. It's been fantastic. We've had such great feedback.
I mean, no, I'm not shocked that it went so well. Because a whole lot of planning did go into it, but as far as like terms of execution go, that entire night went so well, it almost feels like it was beginner's luck.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we have to lean a little bit of a major kudos to Chef Merlin Verrier. He runs the Street Feud restaurant, which is now located at 5410 Colfax Avenue. For those that want to taste some of his genius but weren't privy to the dinner, or maybe were and wanted to give a whirl of his good stuff. But he has a little bit of that background in doing funky foods, as well as he's dipped his toe into the fine dining. You know, we had him on the podcast. He spoke about how he did a lot of those dinners at Cervantes. He had just done a birthday party over there. But by God, was that a well-oiled machine. They made us look like fucking geniuses.
Yeah, not only that, though, but like, I mean, the staff coming in there not knowing a whole lot about it just hit the ground running. They were fucking great, always smiled, and dealt with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kitchen crew, the staff, everybody was great, and I think we forgot to mention a couple other two sponsors that joined us.
For sure. And I think, you know, all of our sponsors definitely, if you didn't see it on our social media, they definitely deserve, you know, shout outs and praise. First, Amy Webb and the team over at Taste Buds. They recently released they did a whole brand redesign. So if you remember those wonky colors of tie-dye and bullshit they had of years past, they've thrown those out the window to a lot more cooler and warmer flavors and colors. And they've recently launched a whole new SKU of products, Chris. So you can find those at Cali's, but you can also find those across the metro. And those, that lemon citron, that yellow sativa, oh my.
The Ebb?
The Eddies.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, you know, Taste Buds also has the Ebb, which was the dissolvable packets that were on the table, but also can be found in your dispensaries across the city. They're kind of like those fast-acting, much like the Ripples that we talked about with Dr. Keith a couple weeks ago, or the Med Farm, the mix that Tim and the team spoke of. So, like, there are others that are in the dissolvable game, but the differentiator for the Taste Buds and the Ebb family, I think they're called Platinum Brands, is that they're doing a couple different flavors. You know, they have some with electrolytes, and, like, it's almost tailored to help with a hangover. And then they also, of course, have the unflavored ones. So if you want to add them to meals like Dr. Merlin's wizardry, you could have definitely done that.
Yeah, I thought those dissolvable packets were great. Like, they hit really fast, they hit hard. I had a blast.
Yeah, and so also the third guest, obviously we teased on Cali's and all the great flour and the products they gave the guests, but we're going to have multiple sponsors, and our last one was Eureka Vapor. And so Eureka, for those that don't know, they do pre-rolls, concentrates, and they've recently launched a product line, or a SKU of dissolvable pens, or, rechargeable but disposable pen.
Disposable, there you go.
There we go. We shouldn't have researched before the episode. That's my own fault. But yeah, everyone knows that Eureka, it's a friendly price point. It's not, if you're one of those dick riders that's going to be like an asshole and be like, oh, why aren't you smoking the best stuff? Then go pound sand, because this is just perfect, right as rain. Like, if you're just like, welcome to the game, you're not trying to find the most expensive fucking rosin and stuff like that.
Right.
Eureka is just a perfect little starting point, and we love to introduce them to more people. So going forward, we're going to continuously have more sponsors, not like 70 of them, like it's a continuous ad read, but we're going to have different products from the community make their way into our dinner series.
Yeah, we're all about variety.
Yeah, for sure. And so we are launching our next dinner series next week for March. It turns around quick, motherfucker.
No rest for the weary.
No. And we're excited about it. We're going to use Merlin again. We love what Merlin did with the first menu. We cannot say enough about it. So we had to go back to the well. You know, maybe this one will be a little bit more casual. Maybe this one will be a little bit more, spring forward kind of menu. Just wait and see. But we will give quick tips for those that have been sliding in our DMs that are listening to this podcast. Next week's episode is guest Veritas Cannabis will be our guest. But we'll be talking about the dinner series. We're going to have a promo or a pre-sale code. Similar to when you see bands do this on AXS and Eventbrite. You type in the password that will only be available by listening to this podcast. That's right. So if you're waiting on social media posts to get that alert that the tickets are on sale, you will be 2 days too late. And so if 50 people from the podcast listenership want to be at the dinner, they're going to have first reign. So we are going to recommend now that you tune in as soon as that motherfucker drops next week, because that promo code will be bitchin'.
And who knows what the password code will be, but we'll be thinking of one.
Yeah, I think it's going to probably be something like cannabis or something really lazy.
Titties.
But, yeah, what'd you say?
Titties.
Titties. That's it.
I just wanted to say that today.
There you go.
Oh.
Snickle Fritz.
Jive parsley. Actually, I heard a new term. I'd never
Did you call
heard.
me a JT?
I heard that term the other night watching a series on Netflix, Jive Parsley. I've never heard weed called that.
What show were you watching?
Space Force.
Oh, season 2?
Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't heard anyone but you recommend that, so that's an interesting take. I want to give, before we dive into the guest episode, I do want to talk a little Netflix. You know, weather is shitty for those that are listening today, tomorrow, and the next. So let's talk Netflix viewership and things that are must-watch right now. Because, Chris, I caught one over the weekend, Inventing Anna.
I also caught that one.
So I didn't know the story prior to watching the Netflix. As a non-New York Times reader, I know you fellatio left-wing media, but yeah, don't choke on the microphone. We need those. So you may have known this story. Did you prior to watching the show?
Yeah. I mean, I'd heard a little bit about it, and it definitely was some. Obviously, the story's kind of built on that, so not everything's true, but it's fucking wild for somebody to fake it that well.
And this was in the 2000s. This wasn't like 1998 where it takes 4 days to figure out if a check's going to bounce. This chick's just running all over the fucking place, using up everybody else's money except for her own. And I'm just curious, what the fuck were these people thinking? You oftentimes think the richest person in the room is fairly intelligent. Some of these bastards are just dumb as my fucking shoe.
Dude, how could these nice 5-star hotels in New York not get down with everything that was going on in the beginning?
Who doesn't pay for shit on the front end? I've never not had, they're like Mr. Wilson. Not only did we check your background, we're going to need 2 deposits.
Just in case the other one doesn't go through.
We heard that not only do you have a low limit on your credit card, but also you're a debaucherous piece of shit that ruins hotel rooms.
One thing I will say, I thought the series was great, but fucking Ruth's, because it's Ruth.
I hate that fucking accent.
Oh
it's
my
so
God.
bad.
I think everybody who's watched it says that. I don't know. It almost sounds completely made up. I get it. There's a bit of Russian, and then there's slightly German and something else, but it's annoying. She should just talk regularly.
No, I mean, I couldn't agree more. She should have just pretended like it was a TV show made for Americans and be like, oh, well, everybody from foreign countries speaks English in this show, because that accent was fucking terrible.
It was, but the show's good. If you're looking for something to binge the next couple of days when you're not going outside, we both recommend that one.
Okay, here's the next one, The Tinder Swindler.
I haven't watched that one. I've been looking into it.
Okay, so, I mean, I guess it's almost the same as the Anna Delvey case, that it's another fucking con artist of this. I guess this guy's a cocksman. I mean, he must be burying these chicks, dude. Chris, I can't figure out what the fuck this guy had on these women. He's just raking in money on the most false pretenses on the planet.
Was he having sex with these women, or was
yeah,
he just...
a little combination of both, dating them and then swindling them in the process, and then some of them maybe not. I don't want to assume,
right?
But at the same time, who's going to give you money, if they're not dicking you down, Chris? And it's easily it's the number one show on fucking Netflix right now. So we're going to see a whole new breed of con men come out of this season.
And also, though, I've never been in a position to swindle a woman.
Yeah, they're like, please get the fuck out of my apartment.
Yeah, no, I will not give you money.
Be like, I don't have any money. I'm sleeping with you, you pathetic piece of shit. You think I'm rich? I'd be hanging out at coolers. If you're rich, go to the Clayton Membership Club.
Right. What was it? Okay, from another one. I watched The Power of the Dog, or whatever. It's a movie that's getting all this Oscar buzz. I don't know. It wasn't that good to me. But
okay, so there's this huge differential of Oscar-worthy movies and then movies that are actually fucking good. And I hate to side with Jimmy Kimmel because he sucks. But he was like, how the fuck does this movie get every accolade and recognition? Meanwhile,